Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. I am Nicodemus Kane. Today is Monday, September the 12th of 2022. Did anything happen yesterday? I don't even know. I don't even know. Everybody was kind of talking about it, and there was a buzz about 9/11, and then I don't think anything happened. Well, that's okay for now. It's still, again, one of those numbers that we always have to watch out for. Um, at the same time, I am. What is this? Boycott marriage is trending. Oh, that's lovely. Marriage strike. Oh, that's wonderful. So, anyways, I don't even know what this is for. This doesn't even look like it's. I don't know. It's just more garbage. More garbage. More nonsense. Everybody's talking about the Queen. Everybody's still talking about the Queen. Because, people think that you are. Even if you aren't under the rule of somebody who. Even if people think that you aren't under the rule of a eugenicist, yes, she is a eugenicist. They were all eugenicists because they think that they can rule over you simply because of their bloodline. Not only that, of course, but they all wanted you dead. If you didn't understand the concept of depopulation, even if she never said it directly, and I'm sure she probably did say it directly somewhere, but even if she didn't say it directly, her kids and all of their friends and all of the people that she associates with, they all talk about depopulation. They all talk about restricting birth rates. They all talk about reducing population growth. They all talk about there being too many people. Many of them have come out straight and said there's just too many people in the world, that we need to reduce the population down to where it was 500 years ago. We talked about, or 1,000 years. Was it 1,000 years ago? I think it was 1,000 years ago. I don't even remember now. It's either 500 or 1,000 years ago, and of course that is down to it's the 500 million mark, which again is the lovely number that the Georgia Guidestones put out. It's amazing how people that have just about nothing to do with the Georgia Guidestones constantly talk about the same exact things that the Georgia Guidestones talked about. But whatever. But these people are eugenicists. They want to control the bloodlines of the world through reducing population growth, to reducing the bloodlines of certain people. They want to tell you that they are better than you because of their blood. They want to rule over you simply for that fact. Even the ones that don't, even the ones that you supposedly think that you put into positions of power by electing them, they're all part of the same family. And they are secretly eugenicists, slowly trying to kill entire populations of people. But, people have been brainwashed and manipulated into thinking these are good people. That's all I've heard almost all weekend was, oh, she was such a good person. She said she did so much good for the world. Did she now? Did she now? And I hear that there are people that are still starving in Britain, that there were still people starving all over the world, that she ruled over. She ruled over the years of British rule in which entire countries were laid to waste. What good did she really do? It's part of that whole industry of, or I should say industry, why not? Part of that whole industry, that whole regime of elitists that own 1% or that own 99% of all the wealth in the world, and they choose to do nothing with it but sit on it. That they flaunt it in your face. They go out of their way to show you how amazing and wonderful their lives are. Yet they don't do anything for you. I never once saw any of the British royalty, I do that in quotes, air quotes, I never once saw the British royalty ever stop and say, you know what? I'm going to take half of all the wealth that I have because I'll still be okay once I, get rid of half the wealth that I have because I'm probably one of the most wealthiest people in the world. I'll take half the wealth I have and just give it. Give it to the people that need it. I only have all the gold in the world. I might as well give some back. And I've never heard it, never seen it. These people aren't your friends. Stop worshiping evil people that are wanting to do nothing but enslave you and kill you and take away every right that you have to exist. These people are not your friends. But people still, it's worship. It's what it is. It's what it's getting down to. It's worship. And you see it over and over again. But that's all I heard all weekend. Oh, anybody that talks bad about it, anybody that points out any flaw that they have ever done ever, they immediately say, "Oh, well, you're just a bad person because you don't know anything that they've done." And no, no. No, man. No, you need to wake up and open your eyes and see what they've done to this world and understand that, hey, there are truly, truly evil people that are ruling this world right now, and there are not a lot of people that are fighting back because they have been brainwashed into following evil men down to their own demise. And now it's going to get worse. This is the season of evil. I called this. This is the season of evil. This is their season of evil from here until the sun starts coming back, which is December the 20 whatever, until the winter solstice. This is their sacrificial season of evil. This is when it starts. You have to be prepared. We have to prepare ourselves for this. This is a full armor of God situation. We need to be praying every day. We have to be better than the evil of this world. That's like I said though. This is their season of evil. They are starting it up, and for some reason, and a lot of people have said this too, because the Queen is out of the way now, I do have a feeling that there's going to be a lot more that comes into the light. There's going to be a lot more evil and a lot more manipulation, and you're going to see just how bad it can get. Because it seems like every time one of these elitists dies, it just ramps up. It happened whenever the senior George Bush, when he died, right after he died, everything ramped up. And I'm trying to think of the other one. There was another one. Was it Rothschild that died, or was it Rockefeller that died? I think it was Rothschild that died. It's one of the two. Right after they died, you started seeing it. So now the Queen's dead. You're going to see something. I don't know what it's going to be, but you're going to see something. There are dates that are coming up, numbers, numerology that we've seen over and over and over again, and I've said it time and time again. We need to worry about dates like 923, which we have seen the coding constantly. Constantly seen 923. I have been seeing 916 for whatever reason. 916 might be a thing. And these aren't the only numbers, of course. There could be others. There could be other things that are coming that we don't even know about. But we need to pay attention. 10-5, October the 5th, 501. I see constantly. 501 is a thing. We were watching something the other day in the clocks, and my thing keeps pausing, and I'm hoping that it's actually working, but I can see my my levels for my microphone keep pausing, like there's like there's something going on in the background of my computer. So I'm hoping that it's not messing up and you can hear all this. But we were watching something, and the clocks in the back are always at like 10:05, or there was one that was right at 5:01, or one hand would be on the 10, the other would be on a 5, and I keep saying that's 5:01 right there. It's the 105. Over and over and over again. We watched what was the other one we watched? We watched that damn Thor Love and Thunder, which was alright. But then Samaritan, which is a damn good movie. Zero politics in it whatsoever. I mean, it was really good. But it was 9/11 coding. At the very end there were two newscasters, two news channels that had microphones in front of, they were interviewing somebody. One of them was a 9, the one on the left was a 9, the other one on the right was an 11. And I had to pause it. I had to go back. I said, are you kidding me? In 2022 they're still doing 9/11 coding inside of movies? What? But the other big one though was that the kid in the movie lived at, what was it, 2398, and Stallone, the Samaritan, he lived at 2399. That was the numbers on the buildings. But then, like I said, at the clocks, it was either a 5:01 or a 10:02 is what I saw, 10:20. There were a couple other ones too that was, I thought were a little strange, but you have to understand that they stop those clocks in order to film. They can't let those clocks keep going, because if those clocks keep going, you will see just how many different times of the day they film. So they have to stop those clocks in order for the continuity. And what happens is, usually they set those clocks to very specific times. And I've said this over and over again. If you look at the clocks, you'll see the numbers. They constantly pop up. It's not by accident. They do these things on purpose. But that's what I saw. And it's what I keep seeing. And it's the numbers that keep popping up. And it's not something that, I don't think that God would have been showing me all these numbers and showing me how much is actually out there and what's going on with it, unless it means something. So I am just passing that on to other people. So now that that's out of the way, just be prepared, man. Be spiritually and mentally prepared. Everybody else is also saying that they can just feel something's coming. They just absolutely feel something's coming. They don't know what it is though, but it feels, there's like a heaviness, and I agree. It's something. Something is out there, and I am sure that the evil men of this world are setting the traps once again, preparing us for whatever the hell it is. So we have to be ready. Season of evil. So let's read Isaiah 40. I was trying to remember. I know it's been a week. It's been a full week at least that we have read any Isaiah. So the last thing that we remember reading was what was his name? Sennacherib sent his man to Jerusalem in order to tell them, look, if you guys just lay down and let us run through, we'll take you and we'll put you in a better place. You don't have to, you're not going to be killed and destroyed. And King Hezekiah of Jerusalem, he had gotten sick and went and prayed to the Lord. And the Lord said, look, you're going to be okay. I'm going to send them off to do something else. I will protect my people. But eventually, you're going to wind up losing everything. He said, I will hold on to you and I will hold on to my people for as long as I can, but eventually you will fall away again. But for now, I will protect you. More or less is what it said. There's a lot more context to it. But pretty much he was saying, for now it's not going to happen. I know that there was a prophecy in which the king of Assyria is supposed to come through and he's supposed to steamroll right over everything. And then, it's like 2 seconds later, the king of Assyria is sending a man out and saying, we're going to come rule over you if you don't give us all your stuff. And that was whenever they went to pray to God, and God said, no, it's not time yet. It's not time yet. I will send them away. But just know that eventually, somewhere down the line, it's going to happen. Just right now, it's not going to happen. It's not time yet. And that's where we are. That's pretty much where we are. That's probably the worst Cliff Notes version I could ever give you ever. But that's what I remember without having to go back and completely reread everything. And hey, if you didn't know, you could always go back and re-listen to all those videos that I did before. I mean, they're there. It's, at least until YouTube decides to take them all off, which could very well happen. Who knows? Again, if they're not there, they're on BitChute, and I'd say like Odyssey and what's the other one? Oh God, what's the other one? Brighteon. There's a couple other ones that people were talking about too that I should be using. Rumble? Was that one? I don't know. We'll see. It's already enough to have to put one video on 4 platforms. So, but I don't know. I will see what's going on. Hell, if I lose YouTube, then I'll, it's not like it's going to be any better or worse, right? Okay. So now that I've taken a drink, I feel better. Let's do this. Isaiah 40. Isaiah chapter 40. Comfort ye, my people, saith your Lord, saith your God. Wow, I already messed that up. Comfort ye, my people, saith your God. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. So again, her warfare is accomplished and her iniquity is pardoned. She has received double for all her sins. Just want to see. Let me look. Let me see here. I always like to have the Strong's Concordance pulled up. For she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Now this is a purification from sins, a sin offering. There's more definitions here that say sin offering than they say actual sin. So they have come to the Lord and asked forgiveness, offered up their sin offerings. She has received of the Lord's hand double for all of her sin offerings. So she has received back because they have given to him all of his sin offerings. See, whenever you read that, you could just on the surface, for she has received of the Lord's hand double for all of her sins, which means she has received back all of these things that the Lord has given because of the sins. But the concordance says that's sin offerings. So he has given her back for her sin offerings. They have repented, they have given their sin offerings, and he has given double back unto them. So he has actually made them flourish because of it. You have to read these things. There's meanings inside the words that you can't just go on the surface. Now, could I be wrong? Sure. I'm sure there's Bible scholars out there that'll say, oh, no, that this means this and that means that. Figure it out for yourself. Pray to the Father. Ask him what it means, so that you have an understanding of what it actually says, not just what somebody else says. Don't ever take my word for it. Again, I'm just some bum with a laptop and a Bible. That's all I'm doing. It's just sitting here trying to figure it out for myself. It's just what I see. Verse 3, the voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. And the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. The voice said, cry. And he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our God shall stand forever. Now that's a heck of a thing. It's going back up to the top of that one. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. And every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. The crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. So in the end days, it talks a lot about the entire world will see something happen all at once. They will all see, everybody will all see at the same time, Christ coming out of the clouds with the armies. We will see all of these things in the sky. We will understand all of these things all at once. Now, you can't see it all at once, everybody all over the world, if we're living on a sphere, and if there are people on the bottom of the sphere that are trying to look north and see it, they're not going to be able to see it. Now, of course, there are people out there that'll say, well, it'll be on television. Everybody will be seeing it on television. Yeah, but it doesn't say that we're going to be seeing the image of something come out of something. We're going to see the image of something, sure. But we're going to see with our own eyes Christ coming out of the sky with armies. Everybody's going to see it. Everybody's going to look up and they're going to see it. So when it happens, the voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. All the mountains shall fall, all the crooked places made straight, and the rough places will be made plain. This sounds like, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places and all that stuff, and there shall be all kinds of craziness going on in the world. This says to me that it will be all laid flat once again. Now, I'm not saying that the world is going to turn from a sphere to flat. No, I'm saying the mountains shall be pulled down. The valleys shall be pulled up. Everything shall be made at a level point to where everybody can look up into the sky on a flat plane, which we have always lived on, in order to see Christ coming out of the sky. That's another one of those examples. Because if you live next to a hill, live next to a mountain, whatever, and if Christ was coming out of the sky, you look up and all you can see is the hill and you can't see around it, and all this stuff. You move it out of the way and you'll be able to see it. He's going to make the world level so that we can all see it. Is he going to do it for people that are living on the other side of a globe so that they could see over the mountain? You still have the problem of not being able to see on the other side of the world. No, he's going to flatten out all the land. That's what this says. For every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. If you can find any other reason why it would say this, then good on you. But to me, that says he's going to make it all flat so that we can see all of these things happening. Because that's what it says in Revelation. That we're going to see, the whole world will see all at once something happen. And how does that work? It'll be a flat plane. Perfectly flat plane. So that we can all see it. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. Not only that, if you do that, if you make it all flat and perfect, you're going to be bringing stuff out of the sea that's going to lead to the truth. Everything shall be revealed. All truth shall be revealed in the end. Everything that was hidden will be brought into the open. These are Bible passages that connect to each other. I know it sounds amazing to hear, and it's like, how will anybody even survive? But this is what the Bible says. Is that the world will flatten out. Everything shall be revealed in the end. And we will all see something coming out of the clouds. In the end days, look up, for God will give you a sign. So there's something to that. I'm not going to say that this is exactly the way it's going to be. I'm not going to say that, God could do whatever he wants to. If he wants to run his hand over the world and make it completely flat, sure, he's going to do that. But it's right here. It's right here in the book. It matches. Just saying. His voice said, cry, and he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. But the grass withers, flowers fade, because the Spirit of the Lord blow upon it. Surely the people is grass. Grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our God shall stand forever. It shall always be there. No matter how much the people of this world fade away, that the word of God shall stand forever. Verse 9, O Zion, that bringest good tidings, get thee up into the high mountain. O Jerusalem, that bringest good tidings, lift up thy voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, behold your God. Behold, the Lord God will come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm, and carry them in his bosom, and shall gently lead those that are with young. There's a lot of breaks in this. A lot of the paragraph breaks. I still don't know what the heck this symbol is. I should look it up again so that I know what the name of this thing is. But every time you see, it's like a little backwards P. Every time you see that in the King James, it's a break. It's a stopping point. It's the end of a thought. It's almost like a paragraph break, because everything in the Bible is kind of separated into chapters and verses. But where those breaks are, it's like a thought. It's like a break. You're supposed to stop there. You're supposed to come to a hard stop there and have those thoughts, that one thought between those two symbols. That's what you were supposed to take away from it. So that's where I stop. I know I've explained this before, but that's where I stop so we can go back and talk about it. Now, they do continue. Some of them do continue. Some of them have like a little semicolon at the end of it, and you're supposed to, keep continuing the thought. But that's the old English speak. That's the way that they wrote this. And believe it or not, if you follow those breaks, if you follow those paragraph breaks, they add new dimensions to the Bible. Because you can read the whole thing word for word, just go straight through. Like the new translations don't even have those paragraph breaks anymore. And you could read straight through and you could miss what the thought was, because you're mixing and intermingling two different thoughts together. And there could be a heavy contradiction there if you didn't stop and consider what you just read. But with the breaks in there, it makes you hard stop and think about what you're doing. Think about what the Bible just said. Then you could continue on so that you know what the Bible is trying to teach you. If you read the Bible like that, it helps. It really does help. It helps you understand what's trying to be said. Now, this is old English stuff. It's not what we do anymore. And this is not the perfect translation in the world. King James is not the perfect translation. If it was a perfect translation, I wouldn't need to have a Strong's Concordance out. But the further back you go to what the apostles were reading, to what the early church fathers were reading, as early as you could get, the better. Again, I'm reading King James. I'm not reading the current stuff, because the current stuff likes to add way too much, and it likes to change the meaning of words away from what the Strong's says it could be. So I went King James first. I'm not going to say it's a perfect translation. I'm not going to be one of those guys. But they put these breaks in here for a reason. So we should follow them and figure out what they're trying to tell us. That's what I do, though, just so anybody knows. But there are a lot of breaks in this. I got through 2 verses, and there was a break. Anyways, O Zion, that bringest, this is verse 9 again, that bringest good tidings, get thee up into the high mountain. Get thee up into the high mountain, which is another one of those teachings that we see later on that it says, when the time comes, flee into the wilderness, flee into the mountains. O Jerusalem, that bringest good tidings, lift up thy voice with strength, lift it up, be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, behold your God. Speak it, say it, do not be afraid to say it. But just remember, be ready to run to the mountains when it comes time. We will know, the Bible says that we will know when the abomination of desolation goes into the temple. That's a tricky one. A lot of people have their own theories on what the abomination of desolation is. Considering that, what was it? One of the Apocrypha, it actually called out the abomination of desolation was sacrificing a pig in the temple, which is possible. It's absolutely possible. We could have already seen the abomination of desolation happen whenever Jerusalem fell in 72 AD. You never know. At the same time, it could be something that is put into our bodies, because Christ said our bodies are the temple. So the abomination of desolation into our bodies could be something that is injected. I don't know. I'm just, you got to remember the mark of the beast is anything that you take. It's something that you have to physically take into your body, and at the same time, you have to worship at the beast, worship at the feet of the beast, and you have to pretty much forsake everything and turn against God. So there's a lot of things right now that are pretty close to that. There's a lot of things that I can't even talk about because I'll get my video pulled down. But I think anybody that has even half a brain should understand what I'm talking about and should know that, we are pretty close to whatever this abomination desolation is. And I've already said that I think it's interesting that one of the campaign slogans for Barack Obama was the Obama Nation, which is way too close to the word abomination. And of course, he was, what was it? Was it the speech that he gave or the inauguration speech or something that he gave, and they recreated the temple, the Greek temple, whatever it was, which was called like the actual seat of Satan, or the actual temple of Satan, whatever. I can't remember what it was. But they had built a replica of it, and he went out and made a speech in front of it, calling it the Abomination. There's a lot of people like to say that he's the Antichrist, and I'm not going to say who is and isn't the Antichrist, or, I think the Antichrist is more of a spirit than anything. There will be a person, though, that we will know. We will see it. But the terminology they use, just the little things like that. It's like, wake up. Wake up to it. The terminology they use, the numbers they use, the coding. Over and over again, I see it now. God gave me the ability to be able to see it. And all I've done for the past 5 years is just talk about it and try to get people to listen to it. It's just all over the place. It's crazy. Anyways. Behold, the Lord God will come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He shall come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule before him. His hand... Christ has always been at the right hand of God. That's what it's always said. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd, because Christ is our shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm, and carry them in his bosom, and shall gently lead those that are with young. It's right there. It's all in the print. You can read it. Verse 12. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who hath directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor hath taught him? With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding? Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing, and vanity. And that's pretty much self-explanatory. Who else could do all this stuff? Who else could even remotely measure the mountains? How could you even measure the mountains, weigh the mountains? How could you even span the skies? Measure the spanning of the skies. Where was the 1:15? The nations, the goy, the goyim. Behold, the nations are as a drop in a bucket, and are counted as the small dust in the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. It doesn't matter to him. Everything in this world is nothing. Now, this sounds bad, but there's a point to it. Just hold on now. Everything in this world is nothing to God. What could he possibly have to really care about the goings on? Because he can simply destroy everything with the flick of his finger. It matters not to him. But he chose to keep us for himself. He made us for his pleasure, and he does not wipe us off indiscriminately, because he cares, because he loves us. He wants us to have love and fellowship with him. He didn't just randomly make us just to watch us all die. There are so many people out there that will say stuff like that. Oh, God's just having fun destroying people's lives and killing people and all of this other things. No, God says if you follow him, you shall be blessed. If you do not follow him, you will fall into the traps and snares of evil men of this world. It says that in the Bible over and over again. God puts a hand of protection upon you so that you will not fall into the evils of this world. He does not allow his people to suffer, even though some people will consider that. I've heard that over and over again. Why did he let my, aunt, grandma, mom suffer with some disease and she died? How do you know she really suffered? Her body in this world suffered. But is she suffering any more now? You don't know. If she asked God to take it away from her, to move away from it, he will give her something better. He has promised something better. We don't, just because we suffer in this world does not mean that we suffer when we die. These bodies are not meant to be anything more than just dust. I've been contemplating this for the past couple days. There's no easy way to describe it either. Because we are set in this world, and of course we're given that choice, whether we follow God or we follow evil. But the way this world is set up, the way that our bodies are set up, the way that our concept of the world is set up, we don't know for sure. No, let me try it another way. I'm trying to think of it. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I had it just fine yesterday. It's trying to think of a good way to describe it. It's like you can kind of just go through life, live your life, and not really have any consideration of anything else that happens in the world. It doesn't matter. You're just going through life. You get up, you go to the bathroom, you take a shower, you go through your daily thing. You might sit down, watch TV, or go outside, you eat. And these are things that just happen because they happen. But in the background, especially when you're awake to it, when you are in that spirit and you understand that there is more to it, that it is something else, something outside of your body. You can't see that. You're separated from it. You're just kind of going through your life and doing your whole thing. And it's the way that this is all set up like that is strange. It's almost as if only certain people are supposed to be able to see this. And that everybody else can kind of just go on through life not worrying about it, and that's how people fall. It's because they are just blind to it. Bible tells us that he will blind people. He will put them to sleep. He will give it to them. He will not let them see what it is because they choose not to see it. So he will give them over to their own vanity. It's pretty much what it says. And people get lost like that because they just choose not to listen. If he forced that hand, he would not be a loving God anymore. He would not allow you, or he would not, if he forced your hand on that, he would not be true loving God. Because in order to be true and loving to somebody, you would let them do what they want. You would tell them, this isn't the way. This is the way it should be. But once you force somebody to do something, once you put that force on them, that's when you become something else. That's whenever the love gets taken away and you become a forceful, vengeful person. Now, of course, everybody likes to say, well, what about all these times when he made all these people go across that and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, you need to read that Bible again, don't you? You need to understand that he was telling certain people to go kill, women, babies, children, whatever. There was something else going on there than just what it was. But he can't force your hand. So people will blindly go through life every single day, not thinking about what's going on just behind the scenes. Just what's going on like 2 steps next to you. And they just live blindly like that. And I've been thinking about that. It's something that was on my mind yesterday. Was on my mind Saturday a little bit too. Just that concept of, you just you can go through life so blind and not see it, not ever see it, not ever really experience it. And I think that's why God has made people like me, people, other people like me, that are trying our best to not condemn people, not to say, oh, you're going to go to hell if you don't do this. You're going to go to hell if you don't do that. No, we're trying to find other ways. We're trying to find better ways of explaining it. We're trying to find better ways of saying there's something else going on here. There's something else going on here. Trying to find the words that will help people, because there are a lot of extremely fundamentalist religious people that have been taught their entire lives that if you don't do something a certain way, you're evil and wicked, and that other people need to be told they are evil and wicked and they are going to go to hell because they don't do this and do that. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. God tells us all that there will be a judgment at the end, and that if you chose to live as evil as possible, you're definitely getting burned. There are a lot of people that want to say that God is coming with his white gloves on in order to judge us. And I don't know how much of that is true. I know he's looking for something a lot better than me. So I have a lot of work to do on myself. But he wants us just to be better. He knows that we can be better. He knows that we can live and love and be happy. But there is an evil that is doing its best to take that away. And people are going along with the evil because it suits them better. Because they would rather live that way. They would rather live with that vanity and live with that unrighteousness, and they would rather live with that because it's easier to fall that way. It's easier to fall into that category than to sacrifice the things you love, the things that you think are important to you in this world. It's easier to have everything, to get those dopamine hits, to live with that way because it's it suits you. It's easier to live that way than it is to sacrifice all of that and to give yourself over to God and love everybody and try to be helpful and respectful and the whole deal. That's why the world is the way that it is. It's because people would rather have that than anything else. Tying this back into what was going on here, the nations being a drop of bucket and counted as a small dust, that it is worthless. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. It is less than nothing to him. But he is standing, screaming from the mountaintops, telling you, come back to me, because you can be something better than this. If you're going to take anything away from me babbling for an hour and however many minutes, know that even though you are the nation's everything, it's nothing to him. But he made you for his pleasure, his love. And he wants you to know that there is something better than the vanity that this world offers. If that makes any sense at all. 10 minutes till 7. Let's keep going, though. There's a point there. I'm sure there is, and I could have explained it a lot better. I do that a lot. But it's in there, though. The point's in there. The point is definitely in there. This is all, again, it just... At any second, he could just wipe it all away and just be like, let's try it again. Just wipe it all away. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. We're nothing. Who can do the things that he does? But he doesn't. He lets it go. He lets it go because he knows he wants the people that want to come back on their own. He doesn't want to force anybody to do it. If you're being forced into coming to God, then you're definitely not doing it right. He wants you to see the truth, to know the truth, to understand it, so that you will come back to him with an open heart and want. I think this is the biggest thing. He needs you to want to come back. He can't force you to do it. He can't make you do these things. He wants you to be better. He wants you to live a better life. There's some kind of energy or power or spiritual something that goes on like that. I've talked about that a long time ago. Everything we do has some kind of a spiritual aspect. He wants us to want to come back to him. He'll let us do whatever we want. It's the prodigal son. Against the prodigal son. It's the father letting the son go off and do whatever he wants to do. Only whenever he finds out that is not the right way does he come back, and the father says, thank you. Thank you for coming back. I will love you now and celebrate you. And I've always loved you, but you decided you wanted to go off and do whatever you wanted to. Now that you're back, here's a party. Here's a party. I love you. Thank you. And that's the kind of love you feel whenever you come back. Whenever you truly give your heart back to him, that's the love that you feel. You really do feel it. You understand it. We got to keep going now. Verse 18. To whom then will ye liken God? Or what likeness will ye compare unto him? The workman melteth a graven image, and the goldsmith spreadeth it over with gold, and casteth silver chains. He that is so impoverished that he hath no oblation chooseth a tree that will not rot. He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in, that bringeth the princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. Yea, they shall not be planted. Yea, they shall not be sown. Yea, their stock shall not take root in the earth. And he shall also blow upon them, and they shall wither. And the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. To whom then will ye liken me? Or shall I be equal, saith the Holy One? Lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host as number, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might. For that he is strong in power, not one faileth. Why sayest thou, O Jacob, and speaketh, O Israel, my way is hid from the Lord, and my judgment is passed over from my God. All right, there is a break right there. To whom then will ye liken God, and what likeness will ye compare unto him? Because God is better than any image that you could ever create of him. What likeness will ye compare unto him? Who can you compare him to? Because everybody can create their own gods out of wood and silver and gold, and they are nothing. They are worthless. He that is so impoverished that he hath no oblation chooseth a tree that will not rot. He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that it shall not be moved. And then, have you not known? Have you not heard? Did you not hear it from the very beginning? You knew it from the very beginning. You've all heard it. That it is God. He's the one that made all this. Not all this other stuff. He is not some... God is not in some... He's not in some statue. He's not in some crucifix. He's not in your Bible. God is not in... He's not in any graven image that any man has ever made. God is everywhere and everything. You cannot know, even fathom, what God could be. There are descriptions in the Bible, but that's not going to do you anything. You cannot look upon the face of God without being blinded by his brilliance. Even Moses, when Moses had to go and look at God, he had to come back and wear a veil because his face was shining so bright. That's why they had to put a veil in a temple, so that it would not blind the people, so that they couldn't see it. And when Christ was crucified, the veil in the temple was rent in half, so that now we could all talk directly to God. We didn't need to have the priest to be able to go and to go behind the veil and make our sacrifices and our oblations. We didn't have to do that. We could talk to him directly now. He's right there. And he is right there. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth. The earth is his footstone. He's right there. He's not a million miles away in some universe that doesn't exist. He's not, he's not on some far-flung planet so far away from us that he can't hear our prayers. He's right there above us. The sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, everything that's in the sky that looks like something, it's there for those that want to be fooled. It's for them. Everything in the sky looks the way it does to the people down here so that they can have their lie. That's what the book of Enoch says. That's what some of the Bible says, is that everything in the sky looks like that because that's what the people here want it to look like, so that they can live in the lie. The moon looks like it has craters all over it. It looks like it's been bombarded constantly by little meteorites. And yet, just like the Earth, for all the quote-unquote craters that we get from meteorites constantly, they're always straight down. They're never to the side. They're never, it's always straight down impact. Saturn, Jupiter, all those places, I've seen it in a telescope for myself. Saturn looks like it has rings. Jupiter looks like it has... I've seen it for myself. But that was back whenever I wanted to believe. I don't believe that anymore. So now I see it for what it is. It's something for those that want to believe the lie, that they can live with it, that it makes sense to them. Of course, then you have all the flashy pictures that NASA gives you that are all fake anyways, but those are there for the people that want to believe that lie so that they could live comfortably. That's what God does. He lets them live comfortably. If you want to live comfortably in life, feel free. But he lets you know. You should have known this. Everybody has said this over and over again. People have said, God is real. There is a spirit that is all around us. He is out there. All you have to do is pray to him. People choose not to take that. Then again, there are people like me, people like other people that go out or there are other people that will go out and they will preach it wherever they can. Some people will hear it, some people won't. Most people won't. Especially now, most people won't, because they are so consumed in their own lives that they can't give two shits about any invisible man in the sky that they have to, put faith in. Their faith is in other places. But it's been there. It's always been there. He sitteth upon the circle of the earth. Now, of course, this, I think, is the two different places. The one where it says the ball of the earth and the one that says the circle of the earth. I think this is the actual one that is the circle of the earth. It is not the sphere. It is the conference or the compass, the circle, the circuits of the earth. Because there's another place in I think it's in Isaiah where it calls it the ball of something. The ball of something else. And it's like, why didn't you just use that word to call the ball of the earth? But it's not. These people knew that the earth was flat. They knew it was flat. That stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain. You stretch out the heavens as a curtain over a flat plane. If you stretch it around a sphere, it would be something else entirely. It spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. We have a tent of stars over top of us. He stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain over top of us like a tent, so that we can dwell under it. But then he brings everything to nothing. He can do whatever he wants to do on this world. He has that power. But he saves you, brings you to a better place, shows you the truth because he loves you. He wants you to be better than this world. He absolutely does. I can say that 100%. I can say that with 100% certainty because he has made changes in my life that no other person could. And for certain people, especially this weekend, somebody on Twitter told me this. For certain people to tell me that the way that God brought me to Christ, the way that God brought me to salvation was through a lie, was through learning that the earth was flat, makes me deceived. That's horseshit. That is absolute horseshit. Now, I'm going to say you don't have to believe which way the world is. You want to believe it's flat, round, whatever. There is a truth, though. And if I can help somebody find that truth, the way that somebody helped me, the way that I can see it, the way that he helped me change my life, better my life, not through a lie, not through deception, but by plainly seeing the truth of the world. If somebody else could do that for me, I want to do it for somebody else. So if you don't want to believe the earth is flat, if you don't want to believe that you can be saved simply because God showed you the truth, if you don't want to believe that, that is fine and dandy. You can walk on, because this is not the place for you. But I am only here to help, because I was helped. For somebody to say that to me, that made me sick to my stomach. For somebody to say even Christ knew that it was a sphere. Where? Where in the Bible did Christ say that the earth was a sphere? Tell me, show me right now. Tell me where it says that. Tell me how deceived I am. Tell me that God has deceived me so much in showing me the earth was flat and showing me that the Bible says it's flat. In order for me to come to him, he had to deceive me to come and be better. Piss off, man. Yeah, I can go into that later. I might go into that later. I don't know. That was enough. That was enough to just make me sick. It's just like, come on, man. Don't you dare tell me. Don't you even dare tell me that I was deceived by God in order to worship God. It's absurd, man. It's absolutely absurd. To tell me that the life changes I have made for the better, for my family, for my friends, for everything that we have done for the past 5 years, to tell me that all of this growth and spiritual strength was for something good, yet I was being deceived into doing all this good. Which along that same token, I guess you could say that if God is not real, if it's just created, if Christ was not real, if it was just created by man in order to deceive men into, following along what men want other men to do, I was deceived by God in order to follow the Bible, which tells me to not follow man. What does that say about men? What does that say about man? Is that some guy wrote a book that absolutely talks against the sins of men, talks against the sins and evil of men. If man wrote the Bible, if humans wrote the Bible, why does it go against humanity so much? It's just so there's a counterintuitiveness to it. It just doesn't make any sense. You want to go out of your way to write a book in order to enslave people, and yet the Bible itself is an anti-humanity, anti-enslavement book. It's crazy talk, man. It's crazy talk. God, people say some stupid stuff. I just swear. Just the things I hear. Let's finish this up. Verse 28. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary, there is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary, there is no searching of his understanding. And he giveth power to those that are faint, to those that are weak. Everyone can fall, but he will lift them up. Renew their strength. Mount them up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Amen. That's that. that's that. I don't have anything else to say. I got on to thinking about that guy that even Jesus knew that the world was a. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. The Bible is an anti-humanity Bible. It constantly says over and over again, evil men that want to lay traps for you. That's a warning. Over and over again it says it. Psalms, it was like 80% of the Psalms were about evil men laying traps. That's a warning. It talks about the people of this world are nothing, are worthless, but God chooses to save them. God chooses to give them love because he loves us. He wants us to come back. At any time, he could wipe his hand clean of this world, but he will not do it. Because there is always a remnant. If it's the old it's the thing about Sodom and Gomorrah. Even if there were 10, God, would you save? Yes, I would save the cities for 10 people. I would do that. Of course, there weren't 10 people, but still, he said I would save it for 10 people. God, would you save this earth if there were only 10 people that were righteous? Yes. But eventually there won't be. There will be a remnant, but there will not be enough people that will be worth saving. They will all be unrighteous, and they will all be evil, and it will all be as the days of Noah, which the days of Noah were so bad that God said, I have to put a stop to this. It's gotten to the point that if I allowed this to continue, there would be nothing left. That's why he stopped it. I've talked about this before. That's why he stopped it. Because that kind of evil was getting out of control. There was no good left in the world. It was as bad as you could think. But it says in the Bible that the end of days, the Revelation, when it gets that bad, Christ said, it will be as the days of Noah. And there's a lot of people that are looking at a lot of things and saying, oh, well, we're in that time. We're ready to go. We're not ready. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We are closing in on the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, but we are not in the days of Noah yet. The days of Noah are 50 times worse than this. So bad to the point that God has to stop and say, I have to end this. This is too much. It's too much. So no, we're not in the days of Noah yet. We're getting pretty close to the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, though. I'll tell you what. You've got people that are doing the worst, nastiest things right out in the street, right out in the open, and they don't care. And that's some Sodom and Gomorrah stuff. Well, we're getting there. It's going to be when it gets to the point to where everything is corrupt and everything is evil and everything is wicked, at the same time everything is legal. And it is people feasting upon other people. It is the worst nightmare hell scenario that you could think of. Even again, a lot of people think, oh, this is the worst nightmare hell scenario we could think of. No, this is not. I could think of 50 times worse things because my mind came from a pretty dark place. So I can think of some pretty nasty stuff. But when we get to that point, you will know. You will know that we are truly, truly fallen. We're not there yet. We have. It's bad, but it ain't that bad. But it's closing in. It's closing in. And because vanity-filled preachers that have been lied to and manipulated upon what the Bible actually tells them, they are out there filling their congregations, filling their people with vanity and lies so that they can be tricked easier by the evil people of this world. They're the ones that are keeping true believers, true people of the faith, true people that have the power, that have the will, that have the power. They know God, but they do not know their own. What is the actual? It was they know the power of God, but they don't know how to use it for themselves, or they deny the power of it. Something like that. They know the power that they know the power that they have, but they deny using the power, or deny having the ability to use the power. Something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. But that's how it's working. It's that we have the ability to be able to pray, to be able to have faith, have the faith of a mustard seed to move a mountain. Come on now. But people have been lied to so much. And they've believed they've believed their pastors and their priests and their men of faith, their men of God, supposedly, that have caused them to err in their ways. We have the power. We have the ability. We have the power and the ability to be able to pray and turn this world around. But how we've been lied to so much. Where was it again? Where was all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing in vanity. Where was the other one, though? There was another one. Let me see. I'm not finding it right now. Of course I'm not finding it right now, because well, I'll probably be working here in a little bit and just be like, oh yeah, that's what it was. I forgot. All right. Anyways, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna keep going. Just so much more I want to say. I could keep going on and on, but I'm sure eventually I'm going to start putting my foot in my mouth. I usually do that. It's the way it happens sometimes. So I'm going to stop there. Usually God kind of gives me a kick in the butt, says stop before you say too much. So this is my stopping point. So anyways, yeah, I got nothing. I really don't. Thank you guys for coming around and listening. I will see you all tomorrow. We're going to keep doing this. You know, we said that we were going to get through Isaiah. It's amazing. When I started this, and we were, and I was, the first 10 chapters? It was, really good, really heavy you know, Isaiah going and talking about, how bad people were getting, things they were doing. And then I think it was like from verses 11 through 20, it was talking about specific places. And I remember it was like such a drag. It was like, well, we don't know the names of these cities, but we can look them up and we can kind of get some kind of understanding of, and of course all these people are doing these things, and it's not, there's nothing big into it. But I look at it now, it's like we're on chapter 40. We've done 40 of these. And, we're getting through it. We're almost to Jeremiah. I mean, how many, was it 50 or 60? Ooh, 60 what? 66 chapters in this monster. That tells you something right there. So, I mean, we're getting through it. Even though some of the things, like I said, we haven't been able to understand a lot of, but we've gone back through it. We've looked at the concordance. We've understood what some of these things meant. Some of them didn't have a big message to it. Other ones had a heavy message on them. There has been some pretty heavy messages that has come out of Isaiah. Really, truly. Heavy stuff. Some of them not so much, but we are getting through this. It amazes me. But I've been told these are the three that we need to read: Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel. So we're going to get through these three, and then after that, I don't know where we're going. We'll have to see, what happens, what comes at it from there. But either way, thank you guys again. I shall talk to you all later. Take care of yourselves. God bless every one of you. Keep an eye on the dates. Like I said, 9/16. We just passed 9/11. We got 9/16, 9/23. I'm trying to think of some more. October the 10th. October the 1st. October the 5th, 10:05 or 10:05. Then Halloween, the most wickedest, evilest day of the year. And then November 1st, 2nd, November 3rd, 11/3, and then 11/5. It's truly just a season of evil. Just a wicked season of evil. Ugh. But it's like I said, this is their sacrificial season. Because they want the sun to come back. Because when the sun is going from December 20, whatever it was, the 21st, is that what it is? 21st, 22nd? I don't even know. When it goes from there, when the days start getting longer, they do their fertility festivals. Because their sun is there and it's constantly coming back more and more and more. And then the middle point, June 20 whatever, when it starts going back down, that's when they start their sacrificial rituals. Especially when it starts getting colder. September, October, November, December. They consider a harvest to be different than God's harvest feasts. We just found that out the other day. We actually we went out to pull our potatoes out of the ground, and we pulled them too early. I mean, they're good and they're fine. They're just small, but we were like, you know what? We should have waited until the beginning of October. And I was like, yeah, well, we should have waited. That's usually whenever the autumn feasts, the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Trumpets. They're usually at the end of September. And it's usually because, it's usually right after a harvest. It's a big harvest. So I get it. I get that. We should have probably waited. You would think that you think that I'd start following these things a little bit more, and I'm going to. I'm actually I'm trying. We're trying to follow the feast as good as well as we can. It is still not perfect because you've got 40 plus years of indoctrination in both of us. So it is what it is. But the Lord's harvests are one thing is when you're gathering food to prepare for the winter. For those evil ones that worship the sun, it is a harvest of souls. It is a true evil. It is a harvest of evil. Wicked, demented stuff that I don't even want to talk about. I could go on and on about it, and it just adds up more and more and more. But it points to an evil that we don't need to talk about right now. So we'll leave it off. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. I'm going to get out of here so I can get ready for work because it's Monday. Mondays are usually my biggest days. All right. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. God bless.